Okay. Well, hi there. Hopefully this is working. Just gotta go and check the stream health still. It's always fun when you're going to go and do something. So far, looks like we're doing good. All right, so I am in the chat. You guys are welcome to jump in there, say hi, hello. Let me know if the music is too loud because I can even bring that in a little bit better if it helps you out, or if it's a good level, and I'm just gonna keep it as is. So today is basically gonna be sort of my creative process, and you're gonna get to see me take this lovely dude, and I'm gonna give him a base because he did come with a sort of base, but it makes him very wobbly because it's so narrow. Basically what happened is this is a Reaper Bones dragon. It's actually, ironically, they're fire dragon, but we already have a few red dragons, so we didn't need another one. But his base and the bottom here, that's literally all it was. It's just that, let me get my background thing here for you. It was just this little bit of black rock where I was kind of like, oh, that's all right. But the second you put him on the table, he gets capsizy. So what I did is I have him already glued onto a nice piece of chipboard using E6000 to make him nice and steady, so when you put him on the table, he doesn't fall over in a drunken state, because, you know, that would not be a good look. So let's see here. Volumes are fine for you, says Jeremy. Fantastic. We have Joelle in there, and we have Jason in there as well. Thank you so much for stopping by. Like I said, this is sort of a freehand, off-the-cuff type of thing. I have some ideas what I want to do with his base, but I'm also going to kind of play along with things as we move through this. So I do have my glue gun warming up, my nice little trusty friend, and really mostly the materials I'm going to be using are foam based and gluing them onto it. I did, however, yesterday get a fun little surprise in the mail from Vallejo, and I wanted to try some of the stuff that they included. So once I get everything put on here in terms of like stones and features, what I want to do is try out these little lovelies. So this is supposed to look like thick mud when it's done. Thought that'd be neat to try around some of the rocks. There's also this slimy gram, which I thought that could be cool to put around the base of some of the rocks, so it kind of looks like, you know, really old moss and stuff. They also sent along this, which is called moss and lichen. So I thought that would be really cool to check out as well. And finally, this one's called Black Lava Asphalt, but it looked texture-wise, when I did a little test sample of it, like it'd be good for like that more granular, broken up stone look. So these are some little new things that I want to toy around with as well. I'll obviously give you links to get these if you are interested after seeing them put to use. So basically, what I'm envisioning for this guy is kind of put him in this rocky, craggy stone area for his base. And then what I'm going to do, oh, you have the black lava stuff, Jeremy? Do you like it? Because like I said, this is my first time ever playing around. They actually sent a whole bunch of different weathering effects and other such effects, which I'm definitely gonna have some fun with now the kids are back at school and I have time to play. So it's gonna be mostly foam, like I said. I do want to kind of give it some, like, you know, pointed up, cragged, broken rocks. So I started making a couple just using, you know, foam, the usual stuff. And I did also take my hot glue gun, and once I can get this guy to behave. The fun thing about these is using that, there we go, used some hot glue to create some flares, and what I think I'm going to do is make these look like electric flares. So I'm going to put it close to the dragon, sort of like, you know, electricity type of thing, but I did that with hot glue. So I can actually, let's see if I can show you how that's made. This is just a fun little fooling around thing, and I am looking for, oh, did I put it away? Normally I have like a little piece of really thick glass that I'll use. And this might actually work. Oh, here it is. Duh, it's right here. All right, so when you are using hot glue and you actually want to create like these tendril things, get something that is glass based. I like to use this one because it has a slight curvature to it, and you can get your fingernails underneath it and lift and peel off. Oh, good, you do like it. All right, so I'm excited to see how this works out. So basically what I'll do to make these things is I will put a healthy glob on, then you turn it upside down, and you just start pulling the glue up and out, and it is gonna get messy. And the other thing you can do is blow on it so the strands will then cool faster. But as you can see, it's kind of hard to show is the problem. also why I haven't done a full video on it. But it basically just creates these loops and strands that start to stick up on their own. So, you know, hot glue guns, they're fun to play with. And it helps once you kind of have as many tendrils on there as you want. Keep it hanging upside down. And once it cools completely, you can then pop this off pretty easily because of the glass. The glass actually chills it nicely and gives it a nice firm end to it. Oh, that's cool what you're working on there, Joelle. Very cool to hear. So yeah, so that's basically how you can create these fun little flares with hot glue. I do recommend, and here's how it pops off, like literally, just like that. Ta-da! I do recommend that you use a low temp hot glue gun for this because if you go much hotter, it's harder to control the glue. But that's the basic gist of how I created these other flares. So let's see here. So we have that guy, and we have this guy. Of course, now I don't know where I put the first one that I showed. Oh, there it is. Fell behind something. All right, so I'm basically just going to get going on this one. And like I said, I'm trying to make it so it looks nice and craggy. I'm wearing one earbud so I can hear what's happening around me, but also hear the music. Ha, 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 ha. And what we always do is we save our scrap pieces from when we're cutting foam, all types of foam, because I find that it helps for making little detail things later on. Plus you'll get like cool textures to them. So you have a low and high temp one. See, I was tempted to get one of those, but my luck is I'm going to flip a switch and not realize it, and then I'm using with a very hot glue thinking it's a low. So yeah, I have two separate ones, and I'll break out my industrial strength one when I know I really need things to stick. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to pop off my other earbud. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my, this is a topic of conversation in a couple of groups. This is that Fisker's finger knife, which I really like because it gives you better control. So it's basically just looking at the foam and freehanding it. I know there's a little section over here that I want to get. So I'm going to cut this free, and then I just want to bevel his edges a little bit because otherwise it just looks like a great big triangle, and that's pretty darn boring when it comes down to it. So just pull this off, pull it down. Gives you a nice little rocky crag, and you can actually take this to start adding in little details. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll go in, and I'll show this to you once I get it done, but I'll take this knife and kind of do angle cuts in so it looks a little bit more like a broken, cragged up rock, which I like. And I really don't have like set plans as to how exactly this is going to end up looking. It's more freehand, have fun with it. This is definitely going to be an hour because the kids only have a half day still of school, even though they just started yesterday. So I need to make sure I'm done by a certain time so I can make sure they get off the bus and into the house, and then see what kind of homework we have to deal with, if there's any yet. Although I did think it was hysterical how they come home yesterday and I said, hey, any homework? No, no homework. Well, not for us, but for you. And they both pull out these massive folders of paperwork I have to fill out. Most of it doubled up because what applies to one applies to the other. So put that to good use during soccer practice last night and filled those all out. But the irony was the school is going paperless. I don't think I've seen so much paper in one day than I have in a very long time. So yeah, it's just sort of the, okay, paperless. I see where that's going. All right, Steve just jumped in. Hello, Steve. Ooh, Southern Illinois. I'm actually going to be in Chicago October-ish. Yeah, well, October. Middle of October, because we got a wedding to go to out there in Chicago. The funny thing was we were just in Chicago in June for another wedding. It's my husband's cousins are both getting married. So it's a brother and sister deal. So the sister got married in June, brother is getting married in October. But it should still be fun. So we'll see how it goes. All right, let me see how many of these do I have. I had a couple others pre-cut too. Hey, roll for damage. I am making pointy rocks. What's up with you? What have you been up to? Oh, Joelle has 3 hobbies. I have hobbies, and they turn into other things. yes, yes. Right now I'm just looking at the ones that I want to use. Alright, I'm liking these guys. This one I need to finish up. But yeah, this knife is just, it's one of my favorite tools because it lets you do these little detail pieces with far more control because you're controlling it like you would with a pen motion as opposed to a pulling, dragging motion as you would with other utility knives, even the mini ones. And the pieces are easy to change out. I mean, you just unscrew this part, blade pops right out, you can put in a fresh one. Yeah, I like it a lot. It's a good knife. There are going to be some links that I'm going to put into the description of this afterwards based upon everything that's going on here, and that way people can go back and reference them. So I'll make sure the Fiskars link is in there for you so you can get one of these babies if you so choose. I'm sure you noticed in the beginning there were all these little announcement things happening, and there's a lot that's coming up in the next few months, believe it or not. So first big thing. Oh, cool, you're working on your RPG. Roll for damage. That's nice. So basically, starting in November, I'm doing 2 conventions. The first one's happening in Charlotte, North Carolina. It is called Mace, and I will be there, and Scotty is going to be there, and Wylock is going to be there, and we're going to be playing a couple games all together. The Friday night game, I believe we are going to try to do a live stream of it because that game is being held, being DM'd by Jim Kelly from Game Terrain Engineer. He's going to be our DM for it, and then we're actually auctioning off 3 extra seats so that 3 people can basically try and win a seat to play with me, Scotty, and Wylock. So that's a fun thing that's happening. We're going to have a meet and greet. Scotty's going to be doing a couple games. Wylock is going to be doing a couple games. I'm going to be doing a couple of mini painting lessons and hopefully have the Crippled God Foundry mini in there as part of it. So yeah, lots of cool things are happening. It's a smaller convention, but I hear only wonderful good things about it. There's definitely a lot of variety games. If you want to check it out, there is a Facebook group for it, and it is run by Just Us Productions. So it's definitely a very cool convention. And then I'm also going to be at PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia, and that is November 30th. So if you're in those areas and you're looking to meet me, I'm gonna be there, so it should be fun. Y'all need to come to Florida. Yeah, you know, talk to a convention place in Florida and say bring them out. Maybe we'll see what happens. Because that would be cool. You know, as things pick up, I definitely do want to get out there a little bit more and more if possible. So right now what I'm going to do is I want to kind of work with these straight edges and make them not so straight. So I'm just going to butt these up against like that. Just, you know, Jason, give us a forewarning as to who you're saying. Bring them in so we know. This is why you always keep glue gun sticks at hand. I've been going through these like crazy lately. Yips. So yeah, so basically this week has been so crazy with the kids going back to school, and while I do have a couple of crafts in the works, the biggest issue was finding the time to get it all done because I was running around like a crazy lady from the word go starting Monday. So I'm hoping that can all get remedied soon. Alright, yeah, I like the way that looks. Cut you away. Now what about you guys? Anyone else working on some cool stuff while you're here? Thank you, Jeremy. That's very sweet of you to say. Yeah, right now definitely very busy, DCC. Just the nature of the game. And the funny thing is the summer itself was pretty mellow. Outside of getting a chance to hang out with Wylock and Scotty in the beginning of July, and obviously coming back from Origins, but did not expect it to be such a whirlwind of a fall coming up. But hey, no big deal. All right, I'm actually going to start putting this in because I want to get these going too so I know where they're going to be. So kind of what I'm doing right now, my whole point is I want to basically get rid of all this and kind of hide it up. So if anything, I'm mostly going to get the base done. Maybe not painting yet, we'll see. But I wanted to get the visuals of it established. Oh, thanks, Joel. I'm glad you enjoy the videos. Hello, Marcus. How are you today? Let's see, I'm trying to make these like, you know, craggy, almost like fang-like rocks butting up against each other. And I'm literally just playing around. I have nothing planned outside of pokey and cool. So it kind of gives them a little bit more of like a display piece factor too, in a way. And it helps kind of cover up the extreme corners that are happening on this side here. Ah, Jeff is here. Hello, Jeff. And hello, Paul. You're doing rope work on your Playmobil pirate ship conversion. Yeah, we have that one too, and we're gonna slowly but surely get around to getting that tweaked a little bit, because our family campaign, we are sailing to a whole bunch of places, that is for sure. And the boys have finally decided that they're not using that anymore. So needless to say, we were happy when it was like, oh yeah, we can put that to use. That's not a problem. I'm just gonna hang up my headphones over here. And again, if anything goes wonky sound-wise, let me know. A wind wagon. That sounds cool, Joel. Let me see. Put you here. Oh yeah, this is gonna work. Fun part is always getting the webbing of the glue gun. I want to put that there, yes or no? Yeah, I might put one back by his foot over here. This is totally just, you know, me goofing around. No water in case. Okay. Now this is gonna be one of those things where if I only get to getting the base done in terms of assembly, I could always do this as another live stream next week with the painting factor. Now with the kids heading back to school, and knock wood, I think we've gotten the whole internet snafu issue kind of figured out, kind of, sort of, maybe. I'm hoping to do a few more live streams during the day so that I get a chance to do more stuff with everyone. And I know schedules can get totally crazy for people, especially with getting back to school mode. Aww. Congratulations on the little girl. That's sweet. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's gonna happen. Little Munchkin makes the appearance, and plans get waylaid for a little bit. But she'll be back at it soon enough, I'm sure. It's always cool to see what people are doing. Now, the fun thing is that it is officially September too, which means I have already started plotting and collecting and doing things for Crafttober. If you haven't heard about Crafttober before, especially in the guild page, people just go gonzo over Halloween and making things for Halloween. It's a lot of fun. Have I ever worked with ground paper machine for doing ground and helping with mountains? I have worked with paper mache in the past. The way I tend to work is just sort of whatever comes to mind at that point. So it's not something I'd rule out. It's just there are some days where I want to work with one medium, other days where I decide to work with another. But paper mache is very handy. There is something coming up, not the next video, but the video after, where I am putting some paper mache to use. So yes, I do work in paper mache, just not with everything. And also a lot of it depends on the time factor and what I need to get done. So it's kind of like working a little bit in here and there and everywhere. Ooh, there's that piece I want. Cute. There we go. Yeah, you'll be back in the swing of things soon enough, Marcus, not to worry. Not to worry at all. Just because you can't get to it now doesn't mean you can't get to it later. Alright, I'm kind of going to treat this little area as sort of layered shale rock. So I'm liking how that looked. you saw the post yesterday, but yesterday I was chatting with a dice company about getting dice custom made with the channel logo, which that was one of those things. It's like, I wonder if I could, and I could, was the answer. What I didn't expect was everyone's reactions to it. So what I want to do first with these dice, because they do look very cool, and I had them cycling through the introduction as well, I do want to see how the first batch comes, because you have to order them in batches. And it's an investment, so I want to be sure before I place a larger order that I like what I see when it comes my way. So if everything's looking good and I like the way the dice appear, I will start looking into getting a few more of these made up for those of you who are showing interest and want to be able to do something in terms of getting your own The Crafting Muse dice. I decided to go with a D6 because that's kind of something you can use in other games. Because even though the D20 would have been awesome, it's sort of limited to certain games that you can use. Yes, I tweeted them, Jeremy, last night. So they should be in my media files. I also I also posted them on my Facebook page, and it's in my Facebook group. Anyone who's trying to join the group, there are entry questions you need to answer. So if you don't answer those, it's sort of like an automatic boot out the door. Reason being, we just want to make sure that, you know, people who are joining for the right reasons and will be, you know, people who want to participate and supportive of everyone, because that's really the clincher for me. I want to make sure it's an environment where people are interacting with each other and all that jazz. So here, this will give you a little idea of what I'm trying to do with this, now that I made some progress with it. So, there you go. So I'm trying to give it like this shale rock, craggy look around him. So it's kind of like just slicing thinner pieces of foam, putting it on, and all that jazz. But I'm going to end up giving this, where did I put that stone? I really want to kind of give this a cool rock effect. And you know how I am, I always go to like real life references. I found this really awesome stone at one of our parks, and it has that mica flecking in it. So I want to try and capture this, if not on the whole base, at least in a few of the rocks, because it just gives it a really cool magical effect. So this is going to be my source for painting colors and everything like that as well. So yeah, we'll see how that one goes too. Again, all experimental. Let's see here. Tip with messy paper crochet, put glue in a Ziploc bag. Oh, there's so many things you can do to kind of help neaten it up a little bit, that is for sure, but that's a good one for sure. Yeah, D6 is definitely the most popular with a bunch of different games now, and they do come with pips. They didn't have the numbers because it's the type of style dice they had, which for me it wasn't deal breaker because I still thought it looked fantastic. So I was really thumbs up, very happy with what they sent me over. Funny thing was, I thought he was going to send me a digital file of what they would make up for me, and no, they actually took a legit dice, or die, oh, dice. They took a die and they took my logo and they engraved it in, painted it up, and sent it a little proof shot for me, and I was sold the second I saw that. It just looked so cool and something a little bit different as well. But the only sticky widget is that I did want to try and have them for Mace. That's not going to be happening because of the production time. Fingers crossed they get here in time for PAX. And if they do, then they'll be getting passed out to everyone there. I do have stickers on order for those of you who will be joining us at Mace. There's actually a good number of people who are saying they're going to come. So I'm excited for this. I'm really excited to meet everyone and getting a chance to meet people face to face and all that loveliness. And then we'll see what happens after the conventions. If people are really geared up about those dice, I'll see what we can work out. Because I would love to get them to you if people want to get them there. I'm just reading up on the chat right now. Da-da-da. Star Wars Base Universe. Ooh! That's an interesting game concept there, Joel. That's really cool. I like that. Alright, he's starting to shape up over there. I need to get this side addressed. But yeah, this is why I like saving all of this scrap foam. It comes in handy. And of course, when it comes time to painting this, it is absolutely going to be getting the Mod Podge acrylic treatment. Chances are not the super dark blend of dark brown and black that I tend to do. I might give this more of like a, probably a deep brown based on the colors of that rock I just showed you, because if I go too dark it's going to be a pain in the butt trying to bring the colors back up to the colors I want to use. But this is where I wanted to give this Vallejo stuff a try, because I'm going to use the foam to add in the rocks and then take this acrylic stuff with the asphalt, right? Yeah, asphalt. See if it gives some texture to the open areas as well for me. This is what I always do. I have to pull away the lid. And yeah, I really like the dice. I'm going to be like a kid at Christmas when they actually arrive and they get to my house and I get a chance to go all hands-on with them and give them some test rolls and everything like that. So definitely looking forward to that. And I have some things I'm planning. Things I'm planning for subs and followers. We shall see what comes of it. I don't want to, you know, let the cat out of the bag quite yet, just in case there are some snafus along the way, but I do want to try and do something I have plotting and planning in the works. Surprise. So basically what I've done is I've taken the narrower strips off the foam and I'm putting them along the edges of the square. Again, so it's not such a perfect looking squared off object. Oops, let's move that. And you could use a normal utility knife for this. Like I said, this is just good for the finer details and getting smaller pieces cut out without chopping yourself up in process, because that would be bad. Yeah, no apologies for the bad grammar. I'm off the clock for grading. That is the one funny thing. Every so often I'll get emails from former students and I'll read through it and yeah, there's like typos or whatever. And within 5 minutes they're emailing back, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to send you something that looked like that. It's like, honey, don't even worry about it. Unless you're saying edit my document because I want to try and get it published. These days with autocorrect, I give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Because Lord knows my autocorrect is out to get me some days, I swear. Like right now. What is it doing? Oh, I try and type in nice and do the swipe motion. Bieber, as in like Justin Bieber, who I don't even like, comes up. So I'll be like, have a nice day. Have a Bieber day is what my phone will do. Yeah, that's been a joy to deal with. It's like, how? How do you get nice and Bieber confused with each other? That's just beyond me. It's disturbing, actually. The boys, of course, think it's hysterical. And they know what's happened the second I start going, ah! Your phone said Bieber again, didn't it? Mm-hmm. Which is just wonderful. Another fun fact, you spend years playing with a glue gun and cooking and all that jazz, and thankfully with low temp glue guns, you don't always know it's just when you've gotten the glue on with them. Alright, here we go. Wow, this is building up just as I'd hoped. Very good. Let's see here. How do I want to do that one? Cha-cha-cha. Yes, Jeremy, you have my blessing to say Bieber work and confuse many, many people. Yes, I seriously don't know how that even got going on my phone. What I need to do is just sit down and figure out how to clear off some of the things in the keyboard app that it wants to hang on to for some bizarre reason. I don't know why. And get rid of some weird little foibles it's developed as a result. Let's see here, I'm going to use you. You come here. And my one goal at the end of summer was to figure out how to use OBS, which I did. It was quite happy about that, and I'm excited about the things I'm able to do, like, you know, this whole dual camera thing. That honestly has been my biggest hooray moment, because again, we want to try and live stream the game that DM Jim's going to be doing for us. But last time when we got together and we were doing the Dude Where's My Cart game that's on Scotty's channel, we could only have it at the table because we only had the one camera. So after that, I wanted to really make a point of having it so we could have one camera on the table as a whole, so you can see all the players, and then one camera on the table itself, because Jim is bringing out really cool terrain stuff, and I wanted to be sure that we had visuals of that for everyone to enjoy. So it's just one of those things where the more you play around, the more you learn. There we go, a little update on. So you can see here it's got, there we go. It's just got this craggy shale-like look to it. You know, because dude's a dragon. He's stomping around, doing things like that. Oh, and then that reminds me, Saturday, I don't know if you guys have heard of this yet. I did post it in the Muse group, that there is a module that is being done called Retroverse, and I get to play in a game for it on Saturday. Now the really cool thing is the woman who's DMing this, she has purposely sought out to set it up as sort of like old school Saturday morning cartoons. So everyone who's playing is definitely going to be a character, not of a character that's already in existence, but we've been given the clearance to just, you know, have fun with it and go, steer strongly into things we remember from the 80s. And this is the best part, it is going to be kid friendly. Everything's being kept G. So if you are someone who wants to try and get, ooh, that was hot glue in my hair, who wants to get their kiddos into playing or see what it's like, this will be a good way to do it, because this system butts nicely into D&D 5e. So that is going to be starting at 10 o'clock on Twitch. Geeky Bugbear is the name of her channel. And again, I'll make sure there's a link for that in the description as well. But really excited for that. I've been working on my character. I am going to be studying up on her a little bit more. And she's going to be fun. She's definitely going to be one of those personalities, let's put it that way. Oh yeah, it's I mean, God, if you're on Twitch, go onto Twitch and Liches and Lasers, or Lasers and Liches, one of those, that or look for Snickle Socks. He's one of the creators. Just the visuals and everything and the concepts they're coming up with. I mean, there's a race that shoots lasers out of its eyes, because they've added a couple extra classes and races to the game as well. So it's a really, really awesome concept, and the guys who created it are great guys. Super excited about what they do. They have a great enthusiasm for it. So yeah, go and look at them, because they do cool things too. Alright. Yeah, we're starting to get there. This is pulling into something. Pulling into something as opposed to a nothing. Oh, I do want to get something in this corner over here. But this is kind of how I work. I will just tootle around at my workbench and play and see what comes of it. Worst case scenario, I don't like how something turned out, you tear it off and you try again. That's the one thing I really like about experimenting. And if it works out, now you have a new technique for doing something, which, if that's the case, that's usually where it turns into a video. But yes, my character for this 80s game, I'm kind of doing this hybrid of Punky Brewster, Pippi Longstocking, and Rainbow Bright. And I have a voice already plotted out for her, which I hope people get a kick out of. So we shall see. And hopefully people don't think that I've been holding out for them on a certain voice, which is not the case. It's just, if I spoke this way all the time, it would be concerning. But it should be fun. And I'm working with a couple other people who are also playing in the game, and we're kind of working it where we're sisters and all this sort of stuff. It's really, again, I'm looking forward to doing this. Ooh, that's always fun. It's a nice long web. There we go. Oh, you know what? I gotta work in those flares too. Gotta remember those. Oh yeah, I'll do that, and I'm going to look in the electric flares. That'll work. Again, if the music's too much, please, please holla, because I will turn it down. A little extra bit. Ta-da. Now the one thing with gluing this guy down, definitely needed to do the E6000 for him because it's a stubborn mold adhesion. It wasn't taking very well. Alright, so what I'm going to do is... I need just a little bit more here. There's just a little spot I want to add some more because it's just too clean of a line. You can see it right back there. So I'm going to fill that in a little bit more, and then what I want to do is add in this asphalt texture. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, let's see. Jeremy's talking about a voice he did last night in his game ended up killing your throat. Oh, you got to be careful with that. Like you got to be nice to those vocal cords. I did not think they were going to next. That's usually what happens. You don't realize that this NPC you've created is suddenly the one that like glam onto. Oh god. That's hysterical. Yeah, I actually have to, well, tonight, oh, that's right, tonight, playing Sunless Citadel with Scotty, with Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and Jeremy and Megan. I am so excited for this. This has been one of those things where our session 0 just clicked so well. It was just exciting. Like when he's like, okay, it's 11 o'clock, it did not feel like we've been playing since 11 o'clock, or until 11 o'clock. Like it felt like it was maybe an hour, not the 3. But since I'm playing a bard, I do actually need to do some vocal warm-ups. Which, if you had told me I'd be doing that again, I'd be cracking up. But yeah, I do have some songs picked out for some of my spells, and others just to kind of throw in there here and there, and I'm just really excited to see where this group goes because we just fed off each other so well, and it was just super thrilling. I want to somehow get this texture. That's a cool texture. Let me see if I can slice it. Oh, I can. So that's happening tonight, 8:30. On his YouTube and on his Twitter, not Twitter, Twitch, on his Twitch channel as well, and that's Mini Terrain Domain for both of them. So come and check it out. I will make sure there are links in my group, and I'll be tweeting them and all that jazz, all that good stuff. I really do try and spread the word where and whenever I can to get it out there. But yeah, it should be fun. Oh yeah, that's gonna do what I want it to do. Yay! Thank you, Joelle. I hope so. And the fun thing is I've had a chance to have Scotty DM a couple games for me, and he's an awesome DM. Really, he has such an enthusiastic approach to what he does. So he's a fantastic DM. If you ever have a chance to get into a game with Scotty, do it. But the fun thing is I've had a couple times to play with him now as a player, and it's really neat what he puts into his PCs as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do with his character, because I can tell you this right now, I have no clue. He's definitely playing him close to the sleeve type of thing. Let me see, is there any more? Alright, I'm thinking... Hey, AJ, how you doing? What time of day is it for you? That's a good question. Marcus, it's 6:30, so Marcus, you're over in, let me see here, Europe, correct? UK? Let's see here. Here we go. So, focus. Alright, so we have like the shaly rock around the edges here going, which I'm super pleased with how that came out. Alright, let me try the asphalt texture. I'm going to put that in, then I'm going to paint up these electric things, because I want to get those painted before I put them in. It's 4:40 a.m. I hope you slept, or are you still up from something else? AJ. Oh, you're in Poland. I won't ask you why you're awake right now. I was having a string, oh, this is a cool shape. I was having a string of mornings where I was waking up at about 4:30, 5 o'clock, because there is a little bat that keeps crawling up into the eaves of the peak of our house at one point. Because of the soffits of our roof, we can't do the thing where you seal everything off. It just isn't possible, and they're enjoying that factor. Let's put it that way. I want to build a bat house. I really do. Okay, yeah. Let me get this hot glue off. Where's my... Sometimes it helps to take a stencil brush to pull the hot glue threads off. So if you don't know what a stencil brush is, it's these. Oh, come on, focus for me. There we go. So these I find are really great for helping with cleanup, especially with the hot glue. Hey, and Jake is here. Jake, I just told them about the game. If you want to give them any teasers that's happening tonight, feel free to talk it up. Yeah, but yeah, these brushes I find they're gentle enough where they don't scratch everything up. But they grab that blue strand. You just kind of wiggle it around. And it usually creates a ball, so you can just pull it right off. Everyone's gonna, you're gonna TPK us. Yeah, no you're not. No. You just like to talk about some scary things happening. We'll see how it goes. We shall see. Alright. Oh, nope, there's another one right here. I don't know about you, but there are some days after crafting I will go upstairs and have that like spider web feeling. There's like this huge strand of hot glue stuck to me somewhere. Bats. Yes, we have a lot of bats. One bat actually got into the house. Here's a fun story. We had a little bat get into our home, and I was actually down here at my desk working on painting a mini up, and I hear my husband like all this noise upstairs, and he comes tearing down the stairs, sticks his head around the corner. There's an animal in our house. Now, mind you, last time he came to tell me there was an animal in our house, it was a 450-pound bear that had climbed up over our 8-foot fence onto our deck and started eating the birdseed we had out in the middle of winter. So my mind's automatically going to be like, great, the bear is back and he's swimming in the pool right now because we have the pool open. But no, he goes, no, it's like a mouse or something. I was like, okay, all right, fine, I'll help catch the mouse. He goes, well, the boys, not our children boys, our cats, we call them the boys too, because they're brothers. He goes, no, the boys have them cornered in the living room, so we just got to get the mouse out of the house. I'm like, okay, we can handle that. We'll get the mouse out of the house, no big deal. So I grab a couple of solo cups, because that's what I've used in the past to help catch mice. And our two furry boys, yes, they had something cornered, and you can hear it squeaking. And just as we're walking up towards where they have it cornered, you hear yeek, yeek, and it starts flying. So I scream, he screams, the cats freak out, and like, no one's get it, and it's a bat. So my husband goes back out into the garage, and he grabs the fishing net that he'll use for when he goes fishing with the kids, and he comes back into the house holding this, and he hands me a flashlight. So he's got the net going, and he's trying to catch the bat, and the bat kept flying really high up because, of course, we have like this, I think it's a 30-foot lofted living room ceiling. It's really tall. So he's trying to catch the bat with the net. I have the flashlight, and I'm literally like following the bat with the flashlight, like aiming it. So I was discovering that the light was actually forcing it to fly in certain directions if I got it in the right place. So I'm trying to guide it with a flashlight beam. He's trying to catch it with a net. Finally, we caught the poor thing. Living, it was okay, we got it out of the house. But the next morning I'm like, hey, you know what's kind of cool? You were Batman, you got to catch the bat. And the cats are like bat cats because they helped to catch the bat. And then I realized, I'm like, and I was the bat signal. Literally. So, ooh, this is interesting. Okay, so this is that stuff that Vallejo sent me. You can see the texture in there right there. Ooh, this is like, it's like spackle and acrylic paint had a baby. Let's put it that way. I'm just going to try and clear off some of the gunk on the top. Ooh, this has the potential to be very cool and the potential to be very, very messy. Actually, look at that coverage. Ha! Hey, it covers well. Okay. The game is starting at 8:30 tonight Eastern Standard Time. Yes, that is the start time for it. Let me see here. It is a huge pot. Yeah, I mean, this is... No, I'm not taking the top off. How much is this? 6.76 full ounces. This is from Vallejo. They sent this to me after doing the Beholder paint class with them at Origins, so this was a fun surprise to find yesterday. And, oh god, what a mess. Good thing I'm wearing a black shirt. Whatever. I got some earth textures. I got some weathering paints. water stuff, which I do want to play around with. I just think I might have to figure out what kind of water. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm going to be updating everyone with it. But right now I need to find a good brush for this. Let me see here. Oh, yeah. Read what Jake just put about the simulcast and when everything will be ready for watching again, because those are good points. He does all the cool technical stuff. I just show up to play. Ooh. Oh, wow. Okay, this stuff is pretty darn cool. Okay, let me get this section painted and then I'll show it to you, because this is cool. I have to make sure I'm not touching my dragon. Oh, I haven't named the dragon yet either. That's so not like me. Oh, you can definitely like give this like... Ooh. Ooh! I am definitely not mad at this stuff. Nope, nope. This is cool. This is really cool. So for those of you who are into Gaslands, this honestly would probably be super ridiculously awesome. Here, you know what I'm gonna do? This would probably be, because it's called asphalt, but this would probably be a neat way to do roads and such. Holy crow, that's neat. Oh, please focus for me. I have to take a picture of this. This is gonna be something I need to take a picture of, but this is like stupidly easy. Blue dragon names. Yes, let's think of blue dragon names, AJ. Oh, and by the way, AJ, ever since watching your Lupin video, youngest has been gonzo about Lupins. Like, he's actually wearing... Did I get on right? No. He's wearing his old Halloween costume from last year when he was a werewolf. And then he's putting on all of his knight armor costume stuff. And he's going around the house as a Lupin. Paladin. Yes. Well, right now it's wet, so I can't tell if it has a flat look to it when it's dry or more shiny, so that is a stay tuned type of thing. But just the way this stuff applies is really stinking awesome. I mean, it tucks into nooks and crannies nicely, which I'm obviously trying to do right now. Okay, let me see if I can get this so you can see. Where's my... Yeah, see, when it comes to the way I name things too, I tend to do sort of sarcastic names. Let's see, is this gonna let me? Oh, there you go. So it's hard because of the angle of the wings here. Behave. Ooh, I don't know if it's gonna show up now. Here we go. Yeah, I mean, pretty much as you can see, it goes right into full coverage. And that's a very thin layer of this stuff. I worked off the stuff that was left on top of the seal. Yeah, that I'm gonna take a picture of this after this is done, and I will post in on my page and in the group so you guys can see this, because, well, I mean, my hands too are quite interesting. But coverage, absolutely, lots of it, and texture because of it. So this is gonna be a fun product to work with for sure. Yeah, the best way to describe it is like, it's like spackle, sand, and just standard acrylic paint got mushed together. But this, the way it covers up is, yeah. Oh my god! Tesla Volticus. Ooh, what about just Tesla? Just straight up Tesla. The boys would love that. They've been watching stuff on him lately. Yeah, I got the brown earth version of this too, and that's something I have planned for use in one of the next videos for sure. Holy moly. I'm a believer. Put it that way with this thing. Wow. This stuff is really very cool. Very, very cool. Alright. I'm gonna get this into its different spots. And then what I want to do is just quickly take care of those electric features, which I'm not going to glue onto this until I have this painted up. I didn't want to have those sparks of electricity going. And I am working it up onto some of these spiky stones. Oh, these wings are white. Wow. Like, this is unreal. All right, that gets all of that into where I wanted it to be. So you can see it. And again, I'm going to take a picture of this because right now the camera's just not going to pick up on it. I'm thinking Tesla. Do we like Tesla? I think Tesla's a good name for this guy. Are you a Tesla? I think he's a Tesla. That was a good suggestion. I like it. All right, let me put this stuff away. And I mean, this comes chock full too. I wonder why it was so heavy. But yeah, this is I'm liking it. We'll do the model. Ding. So yeah, let me put this over here for now. Okay, so that needs to dry. And now we move on to these little doohickeys. So what I want to do is I'm going to first start, let me grab my paints. I don't want to make it too nutso and opaque everything out, so I'm actually just going to take some metallics that I have. I'm just working from the cap because I don't need a lot. So I'm going to start first with a mid-tone. And I'm not going to paint the whole thing. Yes, I like my brushes, sue me. And I'm going to try and work this one more into the grooves, but keep it really light. So let's see how this works. You, my dear, are going to live up here for a little bit. But keep it on the thinner side. I'm going to try and wet blend in with a lighter and see if that kind of helps give a cool play of electric. And then I'll do a, probably use the Drakenhof wash. Oh, it's good to know this stuff will last a while. Yeah, I mean, I'm not anticipating making Mundel mega dioramas. But for the stuff I am thinking about using it for, why not? Yeah, I wonder if This is the fun thing about being ridiculously pale and needing light. I tend to flare out the camera a lot. You cut up clear glue sticks to make crystals, AJ. That's a really good idea, actually. I've been using those aquarium crystals because you can get them. All right, here's the thing. If you ever see uniquely shaped crystals over at like Michael's or Joann Fabrics, don't buy them there. Ah, ciao. Hello. Max just joined us. If you see these like rough cut or organically shaped crystals at Joann Fabrics or Michael's or even Walmart, don't buy them there because they're going to charge you probably about 15 bucks for a bag. You can get a bag for about $5 when they're labeled as aquarium crystals. So keep that in mind. Same thing for the plastic aquarium plants. They're really super great for using in terrain. I've done it, Scotty's done it, who else has done it? David has done it, and a few other guys with channels have used those as well. So, you know, phrasing. It's all about phrasing and what you're looking for. Okay, so I think this guy has enough of this mid-tone blue. So there we go. So I'm putting that into the recesses mostly. Behave. Autofocus, give it like 10 minutes. So I'm gonna let this dry a little bit and I'll go back with the other color. Alright, thanks for stopping by. Roll for damage. Class sheets. Fun times. How are we doing on time? Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Technically, I can kind of carry this through until about 1:15. But after that, I really do need to say adios and get the chitlins back to the grind of coming home and dealing with homework and all that fun stuff. Now, I am going to... Is Jake still here? Jake, are you still here? Speak to me, Jake. You still here? If Jake is still here, or even if he's not, I want to pick his brain about what he used for simulcasting, because I did have a Twitch channel start out. Problem is, wouldn't you know, we had this massive thunderstorm that ripped through our town, and it has screwed up our cable system. Something awful. Like, everyone's cable provider was having issues with getting signal strengths and everything like that. So what I had wanted to do just wasn't working because I could not get a healthy stream going. It's fixed. Fingers crossed, because you know how it is with cable people. So right now it's fixed, and what I really do want to try and do is at least maybe once, maybe even twice a week, is do some live streams where it's either I'm painting minis or you're just seeing me tool around making things where I know it's not going to be video worthy, but you can still kind of see what I'm up to. So I'm hoping that's something I can get going in the near future in the next couple weeks. But of course that means I need to learn how this simulcast program works. Yeah, they're it's meant to be like electricity flares, like lightning flares and everything like that. I haven't used this one in a little while. It's junky. So that's going to be hopefully what they end up looking like. And I'm also trying not to make them too opaque. And I'm not bothering to change the oh, that'll work, yep. I don't want to worry about washing off the brush because I'm okay with them sort of blending into each other. Oh yeah, this is going to work, and once I get the Drakenhof wash on, definitely. I love it when a plan comes together. Let me get this guy going. I wonder if I could even like go through and do a little bit of silver. That could be a cool... Yeah, I might do that. I might go back in with one of my really light silvers. Oh, you're kind of seeing it right now. For the ice bolt and thunder and the flames and stuff. Hot glue is your friend, and there's a couple different ways you can approach making these. This was the upside down, start with a blob and pull down with your nozzle. Hey, Jay! Thank you. That was very sweet of you. AJ made use of the super chat, which I actually forgot I had going. So putting a blob on the back of, I use glass, I just find it's easier to pull off. And then you just pull the strands down and you form it and then blow at the same time so that the strands cool faster. Or you can do the water trick, but you have to be careful with the water trick. Just make sure you're not taking your glue gun and sticking it into the water. Electric safety, folks. But that, because the water will chill it so quickly, you can just literally do swirls above the water, and that's where you can put things like different types of glitter glue sticks are really cool to get like the shimmering effects if you want. So you have that going as well, and that's a technique I showed in my spiritual weapon video. So if you haven't seen that yet and you want to see how it's done, go check out the spiritual weapon video, and that'll show you. Oh yeah, these are going to be fun little flares. And this is one of those things where I know we need a blue dragon. I don't know why we need a blue dragon. Which means we're probably encountering a blue dragon at some point in one of the campaigns. Whether it's the family one we play with the kids, or it's the one that we play with my husband's coworkers. Oop, stay up, stay up, stay up. Okay, here we go. Last one to paint here, and it's a smaller one, so it's not too bad. So one thing I like with metallic acrylics is they don't do a full opacity coverage, which allows you to play around with the undertones that you have going on. A lot of people ask me when it comes to doing the armor work. Oh, I'm glad you like the music. I figured that out. I was quite proud of myself for that one. Yeah, the cat's out of the bag. I am a deep house music girl. I love listening to it. It's usually my go-to. And if I'm not listening to music, I'm actually listening to AJ's stuff. Because, you know, you can listen to those and gather useful information and not have to worry about watching at the same time. Okay, so let me see here. Oh, why did I do that? No, I wanted to use it. I didn't want to put it away. Okay, so pretty please. There we go. So what I'm going to do is let this acrylic dry, and then I'm going to do the wash from Citadel, the Drakenhof Nightshade, because it's a very deep blue, and that should set off more of the deeper textures that are in this. So that takes care of my electric flares for now. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to paint the rest of this base, and then we're going to call it on him. So what I'm going to try and do is probably next week is I'll show you the painting technique for painting this base up, so you can see how I go about doing that. And where is, I have like this nice pot of ready-made, here it is, ready-made stuff. And I am going to go, yeah, I'm going to go for a lighter gray color here, so I'm not having to pull up tons and tons and tons with the other ones. But this is basically 2 parts Mod Podge to 1 part graphite gray, if you want to know what this is about. So I'm going to get this painted up, show you how it looks at this point, and then we'll come back and visit him next week, if that sounds good to you guys. Because it's kind of fun to do something just for a little bit. I honestly don't have the time to take this as a very long live stream because, well, I'm going to be on another live stream later. So I've got to make sure I save some energy for that one. Basically, I'm just going to go in and start painting him. And if anyone is unaware why I'm using the Mod Podge mix, is because Mod Podge has a little bit of extra in it. It's not like Elmer's glue. It has a few extra things in it that will help strengthen and reinforce your little bits of foam, which obviously in this case, because I've used very thin slits and pieces of it, I want to make sure it has a little bit of extra to it to make sure it's not just going to flop all over the place and snap off here and there, because that would be bad. And since I know I'm going to have dry time for this, I'm actually going a little bit thicker on it to make sure everything gets what it needs. Of course, the fun thing now is the mini on the base I have to paint around odd angles, but there's really no good way of building this up the way I want it to look without getting him in there first. So I'm just trying to be careful and not add color to him unexpectedly. And yeah, when you do this, just have a bunch of different angles going so you can see little spots you may have missed, because that definitely helps. And I love making up custom bases, especially for the more impressive pieces. It just adds that little bit more to them. It really does. It's Mott Madge. Did I say Mott Madge? It's Matt Modge. It's Matte Mod Podge. I really only use gloss if I know I'm either using it to seal up like armor, because I don't want to lose the sheen to the armor, or you know, things like water textures. So joke is I have this huge jar of matte and this tiny little bottle of the gloss. But yeah, it's definitely one of my crafting arsenal tools. Here we go with the awkward angles. I have to go for a thinner paintbrush for this one area. Yeah, I'll go to a smaller paintbrush for there, so I'm not painting everything else at the same time. Yeah, see, the whole Modge thing, that is a regional thing for sure, because that's stuff I've been using since I was a kid, and literally grew up thinking it was Mod Podge. It's Mod Podge. I know. Every so often I slip. My apologies. But that's what we all called it, so it's hysterical, so... eh. As long as you pay attention to the link in the picture, you'll be fine. Alright, yeah, this is definitely starting to look as I hoped it would. And I am going to leave the base of this more dark tones, like where I put that asphalt stuff, because I want it to have sort of a singed look to it. A lot of times I do play around with different colors as my base coat and my ceiling layers, because I know there are certain tones I want to bring out in the long run. You know, that whole color theory thing. Go figure. It's very rare you'll see me use straight up black, full on black. And that's really just personal preference in terms of what you want to draw out of your colors. Yeah, I just saw AJ's comment about the glue. I forgot what it was, but my husband went to the store and he came back with this massive bottle. We're not going to need to buy glue for at least 2 years or so, if not longer, because that's how much it was. That's how much glue there was. This is not cycling through. And joke's on me, I had a full throttle playlist going. I have to bring him up closer so he's going to be out of shot for a second. I had a full throttle playlist going, and playlist just decided it wanted to play one song over and over again. So my apologies there, folks. It was meant to be something a little bit more varied. I'll fix that for next time. And we've hit the point of phenomenal cosmic powers. Itty bitty living space. Almost done with the painting. This will actually be a good stopping point just because this all has to dry now. I can't do anything else until he dries thoroughly. Otherwise you run into the fun factor of, oh yeah, that just kind of pulled out a whole different color blend than I wanted. And probably what I'll do when the top part of it is dry is I'm going to go back in and just paint the bottom a little bit more, again for that reinforcing things, because it does help. And sometimes you just need to bring these up close and personal so you can see what you are painting. But as soon as I am done, I will show you where he stands. Literally. Yep. A little bit on the dragon. Hold on. There we go. That's better. If you ever slip with your paint, just a wet brush will help pull it off where you didn't want it to go. I'm thinking... Yep, just like this one little spot, and then I'm going to call it good on him. Okay. Alright. Let's just change this song for the fun of it. Be nice. There we go. All right, so here we have the base. Come on. There we go. So you can see it's got like the shale-like rocks and the more gravelly, broken up, singed bit, which I purposely wanted to have underneath him. But this is where he's going to be left right now because he's got to dry. Oh, sorry about that, Vince. Yeah, sometimes different things have different issues with the being able to participate in the chat and everything like that. So yeah, he's going to dry, but he's pretty much... This is how I want the base to look. I'm going to put these electric flares in different spots around him. But I think what I'll try and do is next week, kind of a, not same time. I think I'm going to try and push it maybe Wednesday. I think I might do this Wednesday next week and have it where I'll show you how I'm going to paint this up once it's completely dry and I have everything figured out for it. So for those of you who were here for the whole time, thank you so much for joining me. For those of you who jumped in midway, this is going to be up and running so you can catch the first part of it. If you've had any questions about this while I've been working and I missed it, please feel free to comment in the section comment section down below. You can also email me at thecraftingmuse.email@gmail.com. I think that's about it. So don't forget, you'll see me later tonight on the Mini Terrain Domain channel, both on YouTube and on Twitch, where I will be playing Cantriella the Bard along with Scotty and Jeremy and Megan and Jake as our DM. It should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to doing it. So I'm just going to flip over to our lovely little stream over here. That's going to be our end screen, and that way for the end I can add in some links when this is all done and processed on the YouTube side of things. So thank you again. I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope I see some of you later on. So take care, everyone. Bye. And now, adieu.